What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So today we're going to keep on looking at the characters in the game and their issues, and of course nobody is safe. You could be the worst character in the game, you could be the best character in the game, and you'll still have some problems. So today we're talking about Vegito, that you see on the screen, Lord Vegito himself. So this character, Vegito, is pretty polarizing in the community. I think overall people think he's good, but there is somewhere on this planet where they think he is better than good. And I also think he's a little bit better than good. But despite this, he still has some small issues, just like other characters who are in the high tier slash arguably top tier slash lower top tier group. So first, let's look at his good points. So the place we definitely want to start are his normals and mid-range game. So as a reminder, this is how I kind of gauge the space on the screen in this game. This is the full screen. So here, moves that travel really far are really important here, as well as assists like beam assists or tracking assists, things like that. Once you get to around here, you are in the Dragon Ball mid-range, and the closer you get to the opponent, the trickier the game can get because of some system mechanic options like super dash or certain assists. So having normals that are big are really important in this game, to the point that I think this range thing I'm just mentioning probably deserves its own video. But we all know that he has good normals, especially the gigantic 5L, but he has other good normals as well, like his 2L that crushes lows. And in this range as well, he can reach you really quickly with legs and EX legs. His leg series are quite fast, so the light one and EX one are both 11 frames, and the medium one is 16. Light doesn't travel from that far, but the EX version is quite fast. Basically is instant and is extremely safe and leaves him in a really far safe place. The medium one is just a slower version of the EX one, but it's still relatively fast. His neutral control is really good. So combine what we talked about with normals already and special moves and his full screen game, so notably his 2-3 success and J2-3 success. So this is a Ki Blast type move that's comparable with Android 21's 2S. So why are moves like this so important and so good in the game? Ki Blasts with really wide spreads like this are amazing for clearing the screen. It is trivially easy to hit slow assists and any type of setup. Having a move like this helps deal with characters with tricky setup really easily, without having to commit to something like Super Dash. When he does the ground version, he has air options after, and he can do it falling as well for more frame advantage. So along with this and this, he is really mobile because he has legs in the air as well. And unlike the ground version of legs, which won't reach an opponent from full screen totally, you have to have some dashing momentum for the second hit to reach. The EX version of air legs will always go across the opponent. Essentially, your opponent would have to be constantly retreating for Vegito to not get over them. So this plus the anti-air grab and the JS make him hyper mobile and really hard to pin down. And it makes it so that he can threaten you in a lot of ways in neutral. He is super strong in the neutral game. He has a good conditioning game as well because he has nice frame data. A lot of his normals are -5, which means that they can't be punished by basically anything. So even this 5L, -5. The second hit of his auto combo, -5. His 2L, -5. His standing medium, -5. His 2S, -5. And his normal Ki Blasts are -4. On top of this too, he has a pretty safe exit in EX legs because of the pushback. Remember that moves having this much pushback in the game is pretty uncommon, and for a character like him who has big normals, it's a pretty nice thing to have. He also does have good mix-up mid-screen. It's still a little controversial, but using the same side jump S or cross-up jump heavy gives him a pretty reliable left-right that even if the opponent defends, he gets a pretty safe exit. And we definitely can't talk about Vegito without talking about his assist. And the big one is he has the 236S as an A assist, which is an assist I've liked basically for the entire duration of the game, but it's probably its best version now. All the benefits of clearing the screen and it's trivially easy to hit confirm. So I definitely just gassed up Vegito really hard for the past few minutes, right? So how can a character with all these strong points still have flaws? Well, it is Dragon Ball FighterZ, and they find a way. They do find a way. So even this character, who I'm basically like saying he's borderline top tier or like the bottom of top tier in my head right now, he has a couple of small issues. So one, his ground normals are extremely committal compared to other characters. So what do I mean by this? Let's use 3 characters to look at it. We'll use one, the long time, never-ending, eternal Kid Buu, right? Kid Buu, he has a jab. It is 20 frame total duration. This means that the startup is 6 frames, so the attack starts in 6 frames. It has some amount of active frames. We don't know. The game doesn't really tell us. And then after the move is done being active, it has to recover. The animation needs to finish. This number, 20 frame total on jabs, is pretty common. Now, Vegito, we talked about, this might have been the first thing we talked about in the video, honestly, is the 5L. Now, the startup aside, because the startup is 7 frames, which is not common for the game, it's usually seen as a weakness. The total duration of this move is 47 frames, so it is more than twice as long as other jabs. So while this is amazing in a class situation, if you whiff this normal, you are in trouble. Even though the move is huge, if he misses, it's a big deal. So he straight up just doesn't have like a fast button to press. So like his 2L is like 20 frames. And his 5M is kind of good for this as well. It has less total duration, but no multi-hits. His 2M travels far, long total duration. And then we don't have to really talk about the H move. So you have to be pretty careful when you press this button. Auto combo gets beamed a lot in this game, but you can't cancel into the second hit of his auto combo until he's done with the kicks. So he is really stuck when he whiffs that button and basically any ground button that he has. Here we have another UI Goku, another pretty famous jab in this game. His jab, which is a 7 frame jab also, so it's slower, is 31. People complain about this one a lot too. It's 31. So Vegito's is even slower than that. And speaking of UI, we have another problem here. He has one issue here that is pretty standout, which is he doesn't have a key boss that reaches. He has to use this. Now, while this move is very strong, as we described before, it's less advantageous than this, even though it's faster. And even though he is good at conditioning people, especially when you're using the ID back version of the J236, if they super dash at you, there's really only one thing he can do, and this is kind of hard to do. So, fighting against characters with solid full screen neutral tools can be kind of tough. He has to rely on moving, and he has to actively move in and out, or commit to just waiting until the opponent whiffs. And the last thing is that he's just a little selfish. It's not that easy to put him on a team. The thing is, his A assist basically helps everybody, but if you put it on your team and you want like mix like all the time, you have to have that dual layered offense where you have to read the opponent's reflect as well. People don't really like that so much. He pairs super well with DP assists and tracking assists, both which are not so common in the game. So despite how strong he is, it can feel hard to put him on a team, to the point where you might feel like you're making the team for him. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this character is pretty polarizing. People have different opinions about how good he is, but no matter how good you think he is, it is Dragon Ball, and every character has some type of issue, even a character that's arguably top tier or straight up. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.